This commercial facility is a 5-minute walk from the station. However, this is what has happened. On the top floor, the third floor, it seems that most of the stores are not open. Several commercial facilities and department stores once crowded together in front of the station, competing fiercely. However, most of those facilities have withdrawn. The last century is gone, and decline has been inevitable. This is the last commercial facility left in front of the station. Even so, why has it ended up outside the shutters? It was a facility enthusiastically opened to coincide with the expo. This time, I'll introduce Mall 505, which is located in Tsuchiura City, Ibaraki Prefecture. I've reached Japan Railway's Tsuchiura Station, the main station in Tsuchiura City. Taking the Joban line from Tokyo Station to Tsuchiura Station takes about an hour and 20 minutes without transfers. Tsuchiura City is known as a cycling town. The city is working hard to promote cycling and upgrade roads and facilities. Since the main focus this time is Mall 505, I'll just touch on this briefly, but I'll also introduce the situation in front of the station, because it will be related to what I'll talk about later. By the way, it's dropped a lot. When you leave the station, you'll find the City Hall right in front of the station, in the prime location. City Hall is directly connected to the central station. Some municipalities do this, but it's great, isn't it? Actually, there used to be an Ito Yokado here. However, they withdrew in 2013. Building management tried, but failed to find a new tenant. So City Hall moved in 2015, and that's how it remains. The old City Hall had issues with earthquake resistance, so the timing was just right. The library is directly connected to the station, making it an ideal environment for citizens. Let's also look at the building on the right. Now it's just a regular multi-tenant building, but it was originally round. It operated here for 37 years, supporting Tsuchiura's commerce until closing in 2004, and that's how it is today. A nice rotary is installed, and though there's some car traffic, few people are walking around. This was filmed on a weekday evening. I don't think there are many people who live and work in Tsuchiura, so I'd like to see what it's like on a weekend too. Will there be more people, I wonder? Inside the station, there's a hotel from the Hoshino Resorts Group and Playatra, which opened in 2018. Inside is a commercial facility called Tsuchiura. Tsuchiura being a commercial facility opened in 1983, faced multiple store closures. Aeon Mall later renovated and reopened it as Perchi Tsuchiura, but they also withdrew eventually. Now Hoshino Resort takes up most of the space, and the commercial area operates on a smaller scale, so things are working out. Let's go to Mall 505 now. You can see a green signboard in the back, that's it. However, there's another place I'd like to introduce. That's the building you can see on the left, the one that says patio. A pachinko parlor currently occupies space in that building. Actually, this was the annex of Sayu that existed here until 1998. It lost customers to Ito Yokado in front of the station and closed with the main building. Now it's become a multi-tenant building. The original building was demolished and replaced by an apartment complex. It's right next to the patio. A third-floor passageway let people move between the main building and the annex. There was also a Keisei department store about 10 minutes away on foot. Other department stores included Takashimaya and Koyamiya. You can see just how prosperous Tsuchiura used to be. It's uncommon to find so many commercial facilities around a city's central station, except in major metros. If it's just that I couldn't think of any myself, I apologize, but the only other place I can think of is Tsudanuma in Narashino City, Chiba Prefecture. I'll explain the reason for its decline in the latter half. Many commercial facilities have been closing down. In front of Tsuchiura Station, May will feature Mall 505, a long-standing survivor. I walked up here, and it really feels deserted. Mall 505 is a commercial facility that opened in 1985. It's operated by the Mall 505 Management Association. The building has 3 floors. The market's distinctive feature is that it's 505 meters long. That's really long. That's why it's called Mall 505. The signboard has faded. It feels like I've slipped back in time by decades. Feeling this way is the true pleasure of being a street-walking YouTuber. It's one of the reasons why I'm a YouTuber. An escalator is on the right side of Mall 505, but it's blocked by a fence. It seems to be completely shut down. As you go further, it's now blocked off. But a stage has appeared. And yes, it seems that events are still held here regularly, so maybe the stage is used during those times. Even so, there are just too few people here. I think some shops are closed for their regular day off, but only a few seem to be open. There are tenants here, including restaurants, company offices, an internet broadcasting station, and a beauty salon. There are all sorts of places like that. To put it negatively, it's not like the tenants are grouped by genre or anything. The tenant lineup is all over the place, but that randomness actually makes it more appealing. In front of the facility, there are benches and public restrooms, and the area is set up like a park. It's clear a lot of effort went into this development. I love places like this. Also, the official website introduces it as a commercial facility, so that's how I've been referring to it too, but honestly, calling it a shopping street feels more accurate. There's not really a main tenant or anything. Each shop feels independent. That's natural, since these stores originally moved here from the former Gion shopping street in Tsuchiura City. As I said earlier, there were many large commercial facilities here, so perhaps they wanted to set themselves apart. Well, since it's definitely a commercial facility, I'll treat it as such in this video. Anyway, it's really long. Even outdoors and weather affected, a single 505-meter floor is a stretch. With similar second and third floors, walking the entire area covers 15 kilometers. However, it's not just one long building. Actually, it's divided into 4 separate buildings. There are bridges between the buildings, so you can go back and forth between them. If you look from above, the buildings are winding like this because there used to be a river called Kawaguchi River. The buildings are connected because the facility was built to follow the flow of the former river. Now let's move on to the second and third floors. Since the scenery is pretty similar, I'll just give a quick overview. First, the second floor. This floor is only visited for a specific reason, unlike the first floor, which you can visit casually. Some shops near the bridge are still open, but as you move toward the center, you start to notice more shutters. I didn't pass by anyone. This sign informs people of the regular holiday. With so many permanently closed areas, this sign is pointless. Next, the third floor. Compared to the second floor, there are about twice as many shutters. The second floor had more restaurants, while the third floor had more company offices. It's rare for regular customers to go all the way up to the third floor. Since it's unlikely regular customers come here, its natural offices are here instead of shops. Earlier, I said 505 meters per floor outdoors is too long, but I appreciate how easy it is to follow the movement flow. Many commercial facilities built in the same era have complicated layouts, making it hard to know where you are walking. Mall 505 has a simple layout, much like an AEON mall, which is really nice. It's also excellent from a barrier-free perspective. By the way, did you notice that there's an elevated road running parallel right next to Mall 505? I'm sure everyone was curious, but I haven't said anything yet. Sorry. This is the Tsuchiura New Way, a 3-kilometer road built in 19 like Mall 505. It opened in 1985. It was built to coincide with the Tsukuba Science Expo in nearby Tsukuba that same year. During the expo, many shuttle buses operated and contributed to transporting expo visitors. It's a road. The main goal was to build the elevated road. They wanted to build a road and also revitalize Tsuchiura City's central downtown. That's why Mall 505 was open. It might still exist because it's a commercial facility linked to both the prefecture and city. The expo was held 40 years ago. There are fewer cars passing by now. The third floor is next to the road, so you can hear cars, but if about 10 pass in a minute, that's quite a lot. It seems that one of the reasons is that Tsuchiura New A doesn't have many turnoffs along the way when driving a private car, which makes it inconvenient to use. That was the current situation. In the second half, I'll discuss Mall 505 and the changes around Tsuchiura Station. The 1985 Tsukuba Science Expo took place in Tsukuba City, Ibaraki Prefecture. The Tsuchiura 2A route also opened then. Along this route, Mall 505 opened in the center of Tsuchiura. Although Mall 505 was thriving when it first opened, it didn't last long. Tsuchiura City's decline became noticeable in the late 1990s, and in the back issues of the local newspaper, there are several articles from around 2000 about trying to revitalize Mall 505. In other words, it seems that the city was prosperous for just over 10 years. The commercial facility opened 40 years ago, but its heyday lasted just 10 years. The last 30 years have been tough. The main reason was Tsukuba City's development. In the past, the central area of southern Ibaraki Prefecture was Tsuchiura City. However, since the 1980s, research facilities and other developments have rapidly been established in Tsukuba City. The Tsukuba Express opened in 2005. It links Akihabara to Tsukuba City in 50 minutes, so Tsuchiura had no chance. The Southern Prefecture Center later moved to Tsukuba City. Meanwhile, the commercial area near Tsuchiura Station declined sharply. Along with Tsukuba City's development, major suburban malls like Aeon Mall and Tsuchiura also opened. I started the video by mentioning commercial facilities and department stores like Edo Yokado, Marui, Sayu, and Keisei department store that were once near the station, but now only Mall 505 remains. Now few people remain and the place feels lonely with no sign of the once bustling commercial area. The area near Tsuchiura Station hasn't regained its old vibrancy. Many privately owned restaurants used to exist, but all have closed. Despite being right by the station, there are few new buildings. However, it's not just that people were drawn away to Tsukuba City. It's also pointed out that building owners didn't actively invest in facilities. I haven't found any articles about major renovations at commercial facilities. As the saying goes, maintaining the status quo leads to decline. If you can't generate buzz, you'll be overshadowed by newer facilities. So regardless of what happened in Tsukuba City, perhaps the area around Shiraiki was destined to decline. Online articles on this issue. There are several YouTube videos about this, so it was reflected even without watching this one. Many people probably have the impression that Tsuchiura City declined behind the scenes while Tsukuba City was developing. However, one of the reasons for the decline around Tsuchiura Station is the extension of the Tsukuba Express to Tsuchiura Station is currently planned. The reason is that there are many bus users between Tsuchiura and Tsukuba. This should also boost development along the railway. However, the planned opening is around 2045, so it's still a long way off. However, personally, I think that just by extending the line, the vibrancy that moved to Tsukuba will return to the area around Tsuchiura Station. I don't think that's likely, and I don't think there's enough strength left to hold out until 2045. Japan's population is expected to drop to about 100 million by 2045, and it's uncertain if the buildings in front of the station will remain due to aging. Empty lots everywhere wouldn't be surprising. Commerce near the station is clearly declining and lacks energy, yet Tsuchiura City's population is growing. It once thrived as a commercial hub. The population grew from about 120,000 in the 1980s to over 140,000 now. Previously, many residents were salaried workers who commuted to Tokyo, but now there are fewer people who spend an hour commuting to work. More and more salaried workers who work in Tsukuba City are choosing to live in the neighboring city of Tsuchiura. Tsuchiura City is shifting from a commercial to a residential city. Behind the population increase, the number of users at Tsuchiura Station has dropped to about half compared to the previous century, and 2/3 of the users are using commuter passes. This means that no one uses it for shopping anymore. Mall 505 experienced several store closures but remains one of the few commercial centers near Tsuchiura Station. A relic from Tsuchiura's commercial past, now a city symbol. It won't return to its former glory, but remnants of its shining era remain. Honestly, I think it's difficult for Mall 505 to ever revive and attract crowds like it used to. Just being an outdoor commercial facility has made things tough in recent years. It's hot in the summer, cold in the winter, and with more extreme weather, it's getting harder to spend time comfortably outside. Additionally, there are very few tenants available for daily use. It's the same situation as local shopping streets that have turned into shuttered towns. I found it interesting that unique tenants, such as online broadcasting stations and summer game cafes, are becoming more common. With large vacant areas, you could even host survival games, something suburban commercial centers like Aeon Mall can't offer. It seems like you could also showcase its appeal. Its lack of major renovations gives it an authentic, appealing vibe. That Southeast Asian vibe you get when you look at it from a distance is just the best. This is just my opinion, but I honestly think it would be better to, out of the total 4 buildings, I was thinking maybe they could demolish 1 or 2 and consolidate the tenants on the station side. I'm well aware that the name Mall 505 would lose its meaning, but the current size is clearly excessive. Demolition would also cost a huge amount of money. However, considering the current situation around Tsuchiura Station, I think it's necessary to take some tough measures. If we make a bold proposal, it would be to demolish the building, build a multi-story parking lot in the space, and connect it to Tsuchiura New Way. That's my opinion, but I think it's impossible, so please forget it. Even after people leave and buildings decay, memories of the commercial facilities remain. The only surviving Mall 505 is not just a commercial facility, but it is the very history of Tsuchiura, which was once a commercial hub. That's how I felt. That's all for this video. See you in the next one.